and a half. No, wait a minute. This is Yard Dogs, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay. This is K1KC. My name is Chris. I'll be tonight's moderator for the Yellow River Digital Group, System Fusion, and WiresX Net. Welcome to net number 43. The purpose of this net is to provide an outlet for Yaesu WiresX and System Fusion radio owners to use the digital features of those devices. This net is hosted by the Yard Dogs, which is simply a nickname for the Yellow River Digital Group. Yard Dogs were formed in the spring of 2017 for the purpose of advancing knowledge of amateur radio digital methods amongst its members. The Yellow River Digital Group maintains a web presence at yrdg.org and also an email reflector at Yellow River Digital Group at groups.io. The Yard Dogs request that no bridges to other digital platforms be connected to this room. That is, please do not access this room from DMR, D-Star, or YSF or FCS reflectors. Rather, make your access directly from a WiresX node. The Yard Dogs thank you for your cooperation. All amateurs with System Fusion and WiresX capability are welcome to participate in this net. Volunteers are always welcome, even if for a single session. The intent is that this net serve both as a social and technical virtual meeting place. Being that this is a directed net, we ask that all of your communications be directed through the net controller of that particular session. Once again, that will be me, K1KC. Our assistant net controller tonight, NX1Q. The backup room for Yard Dogs is called State Line, and its number is 43619. As always, any station that provides public access to the Yard Dogs room via their node can request listing on our webpage. In that case, we publish what the node frequency and location is, as well as when that node will be connected. Some nodes are connected continuously, and some are only connected during the nets. So we will, at this time, begin taking check-ins. If you would, please state your name, city, call sign, and advise if you have traffic or not. Traffic is considered to be a question, comment, or suggestion. So all check-ins may come now. KC6UQT, Kilo Charlie 6, Uniform Quebec Tango Craig, Rio Rancho, New Mexico. W5 SLG, Elmer, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, no traffic. Kilo, November 4, Victor Goff, Summerfield, Florida, no traffic. Kilo Whiskey 4 Alpha Golf, Denison Gate City. And 4NT, Adam in Bristol, Tennessee. Alpha Kilo 9 Foxtrot, AK9F, David in Blight, Wisconsin. All right, I'll pause here to recognize KC6UQT, W5SLG, KN4VG, KW4AG, N4NT, AK9F. Are there any others? This is N4EXO, Tim, Cedartown, Georgia, no traffic.
K4SID, Sid, Conyers, Georgia, no traffic.
KB1ODO, Andy, Wells, Maine, no traffic.
right, we'll pick up those N4EXO, NX1Q, K4SID, KB1ODO. Are there any others? Okay. With the lack of any other check-ins at the moment, which we'll get back to it later, we'll go ahead with our program tonight. So go ahead and put your feet up. This one's a little bit lengthy, but I think you'll find it useful. This one is entitled Latency and Buffering in Wires X. We have all become accustomed to conversations taking longer on Wires X than they would on a repeater or via simplex. We mostly blame the internet for the latency that occurs, but is this where the problem really lies? True, there is definite latency in our internet traffic. Since your QSO is not actually handled by Yaesu servers in Japan, there is no telling what route your data actually travels. From North Carolina, it might go to Washington, D.C., then to Australia, then to Paris, then to South Carolina. Each hop adds latency, as does the length of the route. Electronic signals don't travel through wires and switches quite as fast as they do through free space. Any of you who have ever talked through a satellite connection know about latency. Same thing for those of us who have migrated our telephones to VoIP connections. So yes, there is latency introduced by the use of the internet, but does this really account for most of all what we are experiencing? Switch hands here. Yaesu actually states, please inform, this is in quotations here, please inform node station users that a longer than usual interval time is required between each QSO exchange. Because the voice is repeated via an internet connection, a time lag must occur. If you transmit a response too soon after another node finished transmitting a message, your node may remain in transmission status. Unquote. That last part is the important part. If you transmit a response too soon after another node finishes transmitting a message, your node may remain in transmission status. I think that statement is of particular interest because it brings up the possibility of an anomaly occurring. That anomaly would be the failure of your next transmission to be heard when you reply to someone. Remember, it said your node may remain in transmission status. My belief is that transmission status refers to your node transmitting RF back to you to hear. In other words, you're receiving what your node is transmitting back for you to hear. And of course, before the PDN came along, we always had to have two radios, so that would probably have been where they got the word transmitting. The reason I believe this is because of their wording, your node may remain. This indicates that it was in a transmission status when you were receiving traffic from someone else. So Yaesu says that if you key up too quickly, your node status may not change. What change would that be? It has to be the change between a transmitting unit and a receiving unit. All nodes except for repeaters are simplex repeaters. Therefore, if this anomaly occurs, then you may not be heard yourself simply because you keyed up too fast. Yaesu does not say what the mechanism that causes this is, but we might assume that our software must detect an end of transmission signal. Or some kind of indication to indicate that the last person is finished. What we have not yet discussed is buffering, and buffering could be a bigger culprit than you realized. The hard drive of your Wires X computer acts as a buffer to your transmitted audio. Instead of potentially dropping packets and causing you to have to repeat your words, the hard drive records you and spits it back out at the appropriate time. Well, when is the appropriate time? When Wires X says it is, that's when. It should be no surprise then that a fair amount of latency occurring in our conversations could be caused by buffering. Have you ever wondered why another station takes so long to answer sometimes? Have you ever wondered how one station seems to key up unbelievably fast after the other station unkeyed? Well, the answer is buffering. Think about this. WiresX is a simplex form of communications. Only one of us can talk at a time. We might all key up at the same time, but if anyone gets through, it will only be one of us. You've never heard two stations talking at the same time on WiresX. The system is designed to eliminate that happening, and buffering is the solution. So how was this managed? Well, to be honest, I don't really know the details, but to suffice it to say, your software dictates just when your audio buffer will be unloaded. That also means it dictates when the actual internet key-up occurs. It's not a normal thing, but some of us have heard our own voices being retransmitted hours after the actual recording was made. Talk about getting freaked out. Your hard drive can store an indefinite amount of audio. Just think, maybe your grandchildren will turn on a WiresX node years from now and hear you talking. You can assume then that your software must make a decision that the last incoming transmission is cleared. Any data that is transmitted is subject to corruption or not being decoded properly. Perhaps this could be one cause of latency from audio buffering. And I say audio, but that includes data. If you have never observed it, there's a sequence of events that occurs depending on how you access a node. If you're coming in via RF on a node's frequency, first the software will determine that there is a local signal, then it will pass that to the internet. Then the remote node or room will recognize the incoming WiresX data. Then it will tell the remote node to transmit, assuming it is not in PDN direct mode. This doesn't take much time, but it does take some time, and that time can vary depending on what each node thinks is going on. If you are the local node receiving the remote node, the first indication that you get is that there is data arriving. You will see the remote node name and the accessing radio name. You will then see the on-air indication to let you know that your node is transmitting. The real question is, what parameters or conditions disrupt a smooth flow across WiresX? To be sure, some of it is out of our control, but the one thing Yaesu tells us to do, or not to do rather, is to key up too quickly. They say that might cause a node to remain in its previous state. So if you were receiving and then you quick keyed, your node might remain in the receive status rather than transmitting your response. Well, how can it do this? By buffering, of course. The net effect would be a delay to the other station in receiving your response. Just how long that delay might be, I cannot say, but I have experienced some rather long delays. Delays that seem quite unnatural to persons used to operating over repeaters. Well, what if you were transmitting and the other end quick keyed? You might experience a delay in receiving the other station's response. We've all been making an effort to slow down our conversations to prevent these effects. But is there anything to help us decide just how long to take? Well, yes, there is. One thing you can do is wait until all the indicator lights on your computer or on your radio have cleared. The S meter or busy light on your radio will let you know just when it has stopped transmitting if it is on the receiving end. The display, however, might take longer to stop displaying data received from the far end. This then begs the question, does buffering occur while receiving? At this point, I do not know, and I've not been able to get that information yet, but it would certainly appear that your radio might still be in the process of decoding and displaying data after the busy light goes off. You might then use the end of displayed data as a guide for knowing when to key up yourself. If you're watching your computer interface screen, then watch for all the lights in the Connect ID window. And the Connect ID window is the blue box where all the nodes that are connected show up in white, and then when one of them transmits, they show up in green. So if you wait for all the lights in the Connect ID window and in the status window, and the status window is the one on the upper right-hand side, if you wait for all of them to cancel, these may be the best cues you have to whether or not the incoming signal has cleared. All right, so that's our topic, and I hope there was something useful in there, and let's go and see if there's any more check-ins. This is K1KC for the Yellow River Digital Group, System Fusion and WiresXNet.
K1KC, KJ4LY, Gainesville.
This is PC4 FM, Leonard, mobile, at the Loganville Middle School.
Okay, recognizing WC4 FM and KJ4LY. Sounds like there's 991 of you there, Charles.
Yeah, I've been messing with this 991A. Yeah, somehow I guess it doesn't transmit. I ain't figured that out. It's showing red, but let me try that. Hold on a second.
Well, while you're messing with that, I'm going to start going down through the list here. And we'll go straight to Craig, KC6UQT. How's it going out there, Craig? Elmer, how come Craig never answers me when I call him?
He still must be eating his meatloaf.
Well, why don't you go ahead and take his turn?
All right, I have to pay him a visit, I guess, and straighten him out for you there, Chris. K1KC, this is W5SLG in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Good topic. You know, that looping thing, that occurs a lot, and basically where you're caught in perpetual loop. I've heard many stations on different rooms have that same issue. And, you know, one of the biggest things is you think that it's actually something related to the internet, but you're right. If you key too fast, then that's where the issue becomes there. Although, you know, depending on who you talk to, it's one says one thing, another says another. But for the most part, I think, like you were saying, is you have to give some time span. I find, especially like when I'm talking on different places that have WiresX support and cross mode, you definitely have to give it time because these other modes will come in on top of you. But I have heard it where the stations are sitting there just looping and looping and looping. W5SLG, back to net.
There are a number of unknowns, and you know, when you get involved in WiresX and System Fusion, although the manuals are pretty descriptive, they don't actually get into a lot of the details about how these things occur. So we have to try to learn from somebody who has a good idea about it, or you know, fish around for answers, because we want to make the system work better. So that's what we're trying to accomplish here, and appreciate your help on that. Let's go to Mike, KN4VG.
Hey, Chris. Good evening, everybody on the net. It's Mike in Summerfield, Florida. Listen to your dissertation there, and I agree with it. We're never going to get rid of
some lag. It's just impossible given the distance and the way RF and light travels. We're going to have some lag time in there. But you're suggesting to stand by and wait for the lights to do their thing. And so far, I think it was spot on. And they should apply to me probably the best because I'm the world's worst at fast keying. I've really got to slow down. I see the difference though. I'm on the 100 now, but on the 991, I can see a whole lot of difference. I can see what I'm doing more. So radio makes a difference too. Other than that, it's been really, really hot down here. I'm rebooting a computer. Be advised, the new updates for Windows 10 is extremely long to download and even longer to update. Back to you, Chris, and I appreciate the information. KN4 Victor Golf.
Well, Mike, that's an interesting concept there, that different radios are going to have a different amount of time, take a different amount of time to process the data. I don't know if there are different processors of sorts in the radios. The vocoders are all the same, but there might be some other differences, so I'm not really sure. We are expecting 93% humidity before the sun comes up in the morning, so it was only about, I don't know, 95 or 97 or something like that here today. So, but a nice thunderstorm came through, cooled things down, and left the humidity behind. So, all right, Mike, good to hear from you there, and keep that in mind about the different radios there. Let's talk to Dennis, KW4AG. Well, I have to come back to Dennis since he doesn't have him down the road a little bit. N4NT, K1KC.
Yeah, it's N4NT. Yeah, Dennis is not too far away from me, even though he's in another state. We're right here on each other's borders as far as the states goes. But I'll just kind of echo what you were talking about a little bit as far as when you go to transmit. I've kind of over the years gotten a habit between being a ham and being a dispatcher and working in public service of just keying the mic and kind of counting a couple of seconds in my head or what have you, and then giving everything a chance to click in, and that seems to help quite a bit. And of course, when checking into the net, it's nice to be able to look over at the Wires X screen and see if I'm the one that got it or somebody got in ahead of me when I'm out mobile or something. I don't have that luxury, but that part's always been a habit for me for many years. A good practice. I've got a HRI 200 should be here tomorrow, so I'm going to tackle trying to set a room up and that kind of thing. But hopefully that won't be too disastrous. Eventually, have some other equipment come in to where that thing will just be there all the time. But then I'd still have the ability to connect to this room on a separate radio and so forth. But anyway, I will mention real quick that I'd mentioned it last week about doing a YouTube live broadcast and then adding it to my club's page just for educational and entertainment content, and so I'm doing that at the moment, and looks like a few people are checking that out, and appreciate you guys letting me do that. That way we can refer back to this stuff. A lot of us around here are just getting into this, and this will be very helpful, especially for the ones that haven't got the equipment yet that want to learn about it as they're looking to get into it. But hope everybody has a good evening. This is N4NT. Back to net.
K1KC. Well, it seems that we've taken 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. So we got all this nice digital stuff, and we can see what's going on and all that, and it's slowed everything way down. So I don't really like that part of it, but that's the way it is. So, Adam, you might remember too that. Well, let me mention this. We have added a beginner's corner to the Yard Dogs website, yrdg.org. there's a number of subjects on there that might be useful to folks that are getting involved or even have been involved for a while. So you can look that up on our website there. And we're going to slide right on down to AK9F. David, how you doing?
Doing fine. Did I come back too quickly on that one, by the way?
No, go right ahead.
Don't have any comments for the net tonight. Just joined to hear your talk about the problems with wire jacks. Thank you.
Well, we're always trying to investigate some facet of it if we can. It's not always easy to find something to talk about if there's no news happening. But, you know, we try to dig up things that are going to be useful to each other, and we've been able to do that most of the time. So that was one that kind of came to mind, and I did some research and investigation on it. I didn't get all the answers that I wanted, but I think we're headed in the right direction, and maybe one night we'll have some more about those particular subjects here. So, all right, David, well, thanks for joining in tonight, and hope to hear you again soon. So let's go down to Tim in 4EXO.
Yeah, it's Tim in 4EXO, Cedar Town, Georgia. Just not much to add here, but yeah, just have to be careful about not getting too quick to come back, and just trying to get in the habit there. But anyway, I'm putting up with a toothache tonight, so I'm trying to deal with that right now. So I don't have much else to comment on tonight, but good topic there. I think you covered it real well there, Chris. K1KC and 4EXO. Back to you.
Well, if it gets hurting too much, you know, there's always the 44 caliber cure.
Well, I thought about taking some buffering, but yeah, maybe not.
I tell you what does work. Sometimes you can get those. You can go to the drugstore and you get these little kits. It's got a bunch of little tiny Q-tips and it's got a bottle of benzocaine or something like that. Little really low dose benzocaine, and you can dip that in there and rub it on your gums and kind of deaden things for a while there. So hope that gets the feeling better there. And I guess you're going tomorrow to deal with that, right?
Yeah, roger that. I'm gonna buy the dentist a new car tomorrow. But yeah, so I'm glad I got something set up to take care of that. But yeah, it does hurt. But it'll be all better tomorrow. But back to you, K1KC and 4EXO.
Well, we know your dentist loves you and will be sending you a Christmas card this year, so I'm sure it'll be worth it. All right, let's go on down to NX1Q. Don?
Good evening. Well, now I got to deal with my echo. Horrible. All right, that's done. Well, good evening, everyone. So good to hear everyone and listen to the excellent comments and almost excellent monologue. Oh, Chief Yard Dog. Very useful and good as usual. Well, not a whole lot. I've been kind of busy with life lately. I haven't done a whole lot with radio this week, except try to listen in the car, which was kind of semi-useless. So I was too far away, except once I heard Chris in there at lunch hour, and couldn't drum up anyone because they were all sleeping after lunch on a big fat siesta with a sombrero over their head. Well, though I will say hazardous weather in the Northeast, and probably be been like that kind of here, but if you know anyone up there, just encourage them to stay out of the heat, do the right thing. If they can't get to some air conditioning, get to some public building that has it, and don't need anyone dying on up there. For that matter here, with extreme humidity swings and all this, take extra care. I know the amount of water I have to drink when I'm gone all day is, or most of the day, or all day, is a lot more. So be careful. And next one.
Okay, Don. Well, thanks for being there and logging for us tonight. And yep, I have been known to take a little siesta myself. So sometimes 2 or 3. All right, let's talk to Sid, K4SID, K1KC.
Well, let me try this again. And K1KC from K4SID. Can I get directions to that meatloaf? I got mashed potatoes ready, and I know mashed potatoes, gravy, and meatloaf would go good together. What can I say? And Chris, I want to thank you for helping out my friend get configuration straightened out if he needed it straightened out. I did hear him on, he finally set up his room, and I did hear him, but he's still set up in analog mode. So I'll have to find out what he did and how he did it, and see if he's going to leave it that way, I guess. And oh, gee whiz, I have one other thing. Oh, the rain that blew through. I tell you what, I think I got a couple of packages that were delivered to you. I think they're sitting on my driveway now. The wind was so bad it was blowing the rain sideways. With that, we'll turn it back to net control, K1KC and the net from K4SID.
K1KC. Well, you did get some packages because they got blown back over here. They did actually put a plastic bag around the top of them. I don't think they put the plastic under the bottom, but there was a piece of plastic over the top of them. And let's see, they came at 4:30, probably right about the time it was going to town. So I'd been out there about 15 minutes before that, and they weren't there. So. But I did get packages today, so either you've been hanging out in my driveway or they were actually getting blown around a little bit, one of the two. And I was going to ask you about Bill, see where he was at on that. We did find that he had a DGID code in there that we had to remove. And I think there might have been one other thing that we discovered, but we really did not find what his transmit error was or why he was not hearing me very well. He did hear me, but not very well.
Well, you know, we were trying to get him going this morning, myself and another ham over in Alabama, and he was hearing me real well, you know, but he just couldn't transmit. So, and I'm still not sure about that error or whether he even got it resolved. Just that I know I was listening to him and the ham in Alabama talking in his room, and you could tell he was using analog because the sound quality was definitely different. And just one other quick comment: we all have to remember that just like you were indicating about waiting before keying up, we also need to remember to hold the push to talk button just a little bit after we stop talking. Otherwise, our transmission gets cut off. So you lose the end of it. With that, back to net control from K4SID.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. You, if you drop your transmitting, your audio buffering may not have finished spitting out what it's spitting out. So that happens quite often. So we're always having to figure out what the other person meant to say. We're good spin doctors. We're like, we could be politicians or aides to politicians. I see that Bill has analog in his node set up right now, or his room, one of the two. And it's active, but he's gone back to analog. So I don't know, maybe he's having a little bit better luck there. I did encourage him to call Yesu in the meantime before I have a chance to research on this end what might be going on. So they might get a better, quicker answer there. So we'll find out maybe later on what the answer is. All right, Sid, thanks for your comments and for checking in tonight. And we're going to go on down to Andy, KV1ODO.
K1KC and the group, KB1ODO. Andy up here in Wells, Maine. Good evening, Chris. Good evening to everyone else out there. Very informative net. First time I've checked in, and I think I'm going to put this on my calendar. And I hope to get in here on Wednesdays and learn a lot about this Wires X. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the great rest of the week. And 7-3 to you all. K1KC, KB1ODO. Back to you, Chris.
K1KC, Andy, you're welcome anytime. Drop by anytime. Doesn't have to be just during the nets there. You can always check out yrdz.org. There is some information on there that might be of use to folks, and we try to put some things down there that slip. A lot of these things slip my mind, so if I write them down, sometimes it's helpful. Maybe I should go back and read what I wrote myself. So, thanks for dropping by, Andy, and we're going to check out Charles and see how many or how much luck he's having there getting that radio to transmit like he wants it to. KJ4 LYK1KC.
K1KC, KJ4LY.
You got it. Go ahead.
Oh, goody. Something's working anyway. Too many menus and other menus. I'm used to buttons, but anyway, we'll get this thing straightened out. Hopefully it's sounding all right. I don't know. I've been tinkering with it for a couple hours.
Well, I hope it didn't get rained on to start with. And yeah, it sounds fine. It's a little bit frustrating when you open up a menu and it says, how would you like to read this menu in French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Swahili, or, oh yeah, English. And then it goes on down from there, menu, sub-menu, sub-sub-menu, sub-sub-sub-menu. But yeah, there are lots of menus on the 991. So, you got anything else here, Charles?
No. Just trying to get this thing figured out. There were a few things here after the net, but anyway, at least it's talking. That's a plus, but I gotta get used to it. It's a lot. Well, it's not. It's a whole lot smaller than the old 990. And it sounds. I haven't had too much time to really play with it, but I think I'm going to like it. But other than that, not too much more to contribute this evening there, Chris. K1KC, KJ4LY.
All right, Charles, for just one thing before we move along there, what microphone are you on? You're on the 991 now, I think, and what microphone are you on?
That's the microphone that comes with this contraption.
What is that? One of the hand mics?
Yeah, affirmative. I was going to try the other ones, but I'll wait for later to check it because I'm probably going to have to change some settings.
All right. All right. Good to hear you, and good luck with that radio. And I'm sure we'll go 991 to 991 at some point just to see what it sounds like. Well, Mr. Leonard, I have some things to tell you, but I'll wait till after the net for that. Let's check out WC4FM, see if he's dried out yet. K1KC calling. N8QJL, K1KC.
Hold on, I can hear myself. I'm echo. Let me turn this down. I'm going through my own tonight.
All right. Well, good. What's going on besides, well, I don't know what the weather is up like there. I haven't seen Brad tonight, and so I don't know what's going on in your part of the world, so let us know.
Okay, I finally got my stuff turned down. Well, hello, it's really good net tonight, Chris. This is Darla, in southeastern West Virginia, a little town called Peterstown. Our weather is, we actually had a good day. It was a little humid, but it was only ended up being just 8 degrees and overcast and a little rain shower, and it was actually a pretty nice day compared to what the days were, and compared to everybody else. I think we're definitely on the cool side. We're going to get slammed this weekend with it. But do enjoy your quick draw. I'm really bad to click on it and decided a chance to let it drop. But that was good information to pass along. And I do like that. I would like to have a 991 on my wish list. But anyway, all's going well, and good. Always good to listen to this net. It's N8QJL.
Well, I tell you what, Darla, I know some people that have 991s, and whenever I find out that they're not at home, I'll let you know. You can slide in there and get you one.
Now that sounds like a plan. I don't know if that's legal or not, but that's a plan.
Oh, me. Well, actually, you can get the original version for not a lot of money. I've seen them. The prices vary a good bit, but they're pretty reasonable for the original version. And the screen on the newer version is a little bit better, but I don't think it's worth all the extra money it costs to get it. So if you're interested, I would definitely think about a used one. And that's what I did. I got a used one and a speaker, which the speaker is not very good. But the radio's, it's kind of small for my fingers and that. And I hit buttons that I don't mean to hit a lot of times, but I think the radio's a pretty decent radio. So that's something you might consider there. Well, Darla, good hearing from you, and thanks for checking in. Let me call for additional check-ins. This is K1KC for the Yellow River Digital Group, System Fusion Wires XNet. Is there anyone else who would like to check in? KF4VQA, Kilo Fox 4, Victor Quebec Alpha, Jeff, Monroe, Georgia. Evening, Chris. Everybody on the net. All right, nobody checked in after you there, Jeff, so sorry about Globodine there, but go ahead and let us know what else is going on. Oh, is that for me, Chris? KF4VQA? You didn't snooze on me that quick. Yep, that was for you, Jeff. Go ahead. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, checking in late. I took the end of the line today on the net instead of one of the first, but we're busy here at the house, and so anyways, better late than never. And nothing much going on, just trying to stay cool in this heat. And this afternoon, I took our big trash can down to the street, and we have a about 450 foot long driveway, so about 900 feet in total, front and back, on the trip. And the heat was really something. I think I got a third degree, whatever the degree burn is, by the time I got back to the house. But boy, it was a scorcher. And but anyways, it's summer, so anyways, hope everybody stays on the cool side of the door, as they say, and drinks water. And other than that, not much going on. Hope everybody's doing well and staying cool as can be in this hot weather, all up and down the coast and the southeast here. So, but anyways, yeah, I missed the program since I checked in late. But anyways, won't be here next week. We're going to be out and about on a little excursion. So, anyways, everybody have a good evening, and thanks for checking me in there, Chris. KF4 VQA, back to net.
Well, Jeff, you're in luck. The program is available on VHS, Beta, and Laserdisc for a mere fee of $29.95 plus shipping and handling.
That's a bargain. I'll take two.
But wait, for an additional handling fee, never mind. Good to hear you there. Let's go back and see if we can dig up Craig, KC6, UQT, K1KC.
Next one, Q.
Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, Chris, you have a KN4 VHS. You want to call him? He was saying he wanted to check in over the chat. I'm not sure if that means over RF2, but you might want to hit the bushes for him at some point.
Roger, roger, roger. KC6UQT, KA1KC. KW4AG, K1KC.
W5SOG. W5SOG.
Yeah, go ahead, Elmer.
Well, I could say it must be a pretty good beetle. I just called him on the phone. He's not even answering, so he must have got detained. Something pulled him away anyway. I'll let him know you're hollering from him.
Okay, well, you know, there's 4 things you don't do. Now, I don't know Craig personally, but you don't spit in the wind, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't get between a hungry man and his plate. So, I'm not going to bother him there. All right. Brian, do you wish to check in? Well, I'll make that Byron, not Brian, but Byron, do you wish to check in? All right, Byron, I am not receiving any audio from you. Are you in digital mode? You need to be in digital mode. If you're not, I will not hear you. All right, we'll probably wrap it up here in just a few minutes, but before we do, let's go back. Anybody that did not get a chance to speak that was checked in, anybody who did not check in, who wishes to check in, may come now. This is Whiskey 4 Oscar Echo, W4OE. The handle is HAL, Hotel America, London. Well, hello, Hal. This is Chris, K1KC for the Yellow River Digital Group, System Fusion, and WiresXNet. Welcome. What's going on in your radio world? Well, hi, Chris. Nice to meet you, and thank you for letting me into the net. I was just channel surfing here and come up here on the repeater. And I remember I heard it, and I thought, oh, yeah, on Thursday night they have a net. And nothing really, just trying to get myself acclimated here to WiresX. And trying to stay cool. That's about it. Played a little golf today, and it was very, very hot. And then I come home and mowed the lawn before it rained. And it didn't rain, so anyhow. Thank you again for letting me check into the net. Sounds like a nice net, Chris. Back to you. Well, Hal, I wish you could have been here about 50 minutes ago. We had a presentation on latency and buffering in WiresX, but we do that just about every Wednesday night. We have some kind of presentation. It's not always WiresX and System Fusion, but generally it is, and we try to keep it on that. And if we don't have anything new to talk about, we'll branch off a little bit into other radio subjects. But anyway, thanks for dropping by. Yep, we're here every Wednesday night from 9 to usually about a little bit before 10 o'clock. So come on by anytime. It doesn't have to be during the nets. The room's open all the time, so drop by whenever you feel like it. This is K1KC. Okay, well, thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it, and I'll try to make it a weekly event. W4OE. Byron, I do not know what the situation is right now, so I've not heard any audio from you right now. Let's see. I see part of your comments here, but I don't see all of them. So we do have you check into the net there, and if you got any comments, you can put them in the chat box, and we'll relay those to everybody will see them if you want to put something in the chat box there. All right, this is K1KC for the Yellow River Digital Group, System Fusion, and WiresXNet. Last call for check-ins or persons that did check in that didn't get to comment yet. Go ahead.
November 7, Sierra Romeo Golf, Steve in Chandler, Arizona.
Well, Steve, welcome to the Yard Dogs Net. What's happening in your radio world?
Well, I actually just got this Fusion radio yesterday. I got it set up and made my first contact on it earlier today with some gentleman in Florida, and he told me about your net, so I thought I'd give it a try. So having a lot of fun. I picked up the FTM 7250D, having a lot of fun with it, and this WiresX has been fun to learn, and it kind of entertained me for the last couple hours here. So just glad I could make contact with you guys. N7 SRG.
Well, welcome to Fusion, and we're glad you could drop by. We have a net that attempts to accomplish two things. One, we try to solve any technical issues that we can, and we usually have a tutorial of some type directed towards C4FM, System Fusion, and Wires X, if at all possible. Sometimes we branch out a little bit. Every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Always welcome to drop by then or any other time. So, got any more comments?
Oh, thank you. Sorry I missed the net. They told me about the net, but I had to run off and to dinner there, so I missed it. But I'm going to try to make it next week for sure. So just trying to learn, and I think one of the best ways is listening to the nets and picking up from what other people know. So that's what I'm going to do. So thanks again. Have a good evening. This is November 7, Sierra Romeo Golf. Stephen Chandler. Thanks.
All right, we'll be looking for you. KN4PHS, K1KC. Yeah, we'll be looking for you next week too. I hope we can get whatever the problem is worked out before then, and we can get your comments, your audio as well. Are there any other check-ins or rechecks? All right, real quick, KC6UQT, KEW4AG, and WC4FM. Any of you guys there? All right, that being it, I'd like to thank everybody for dropping by tonight and making this net a success. Please pass the word around to other System Fusion and Wires X owner about the net. Direct them to yrdg.org or Yellow River Digital Group at groups.io 73. And good night. See you next week. This is K1KC.